56 years old, who died of multiple sclerosis, having spent her last 2 years in a nursing home, completely helpless, couldn't feed herself, begged to die. And when she finally did go, I know that she was at peace.
Give us a phone call about today's show. The phone number is 330-2404. We talked about pulling Minnesota funds from businesses that are involved in discrimination in Northern Ireland, jokes about Jewish women, and a test to make sure the chicken you eat is safe.
Tomorrow, we're going to find out whether there would be more football Sundays ahead or whether we can all go back to raking leaves. The strike deadline is just hours away for the National Football League. The owners have vowed to keep the game going anyway. Tomorrow, we're going to talk to Vikings General Manager Mike Lynn about his plans for the season.
Well, the gun is about to sound on this program, so we'll kick things off to our colleagues across the way for the 5 p.m. report.
You are watching WCCO2, a service of WCCO Cable. This is the 6 p.m. report replay. You are watching WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul. This is the 6 p.m. report.
Good evening, everyone. In just a few hours, a players' strike may bring a premature end to the football season for the Minnesota Vikings and, of course, the rest of the NFL. And if history does indeed repeat itself, you might put significance in the event of 5 years ago. The last time there was a professional football players' strike, the New York Jets played on national television, as they will tonight. Mark Rosen is in our sports center to bring us up to date. Mark?
Well, Dave, there are hints that progress has been made towards a settlement. Union Chief Gene Upshaw saying late this afternoon that, quote, I have something up my sleeve, refusing to elaborate, only adding that he'd have an announcement later tonight on national television. Upshaw said, I haven't announced the strike yet. If the two sides are close, Upshaw did admit a one-day delay and a settlement could save this week's games. This scene was repeated throughout the NFL yesterday. The Vikings and Rams showing their solidarity, shaking hands before kickoff, greeted by a chorus of boos by the fans in Anaheim Stadium. If there is a strike, the so-called scab teams would begin play October the 4th. As you might imagine, no one of the Vikings is thrilled with the prospect of walking. A 2-0 start has a lot to do with that. The Vikings lost their share of last-second games a year ago. Yesterday, this touchdown pass to Hassan Jones beat the Rams. Some say that kind of a miracle will have to end the strike.
It happen. I mean, that was a miracle play today. But I still have faith and believe that an agreement can be worked out. If not within the next 24 to 48 hours, you're talking about postponing the season for a week. So we got an additional week to get this agreement hammered out. And I think it's come to a critical, crucial time that both parties realize that we're at the 11th hour and we got to get something done.
Greg Coleman, the Vikings' alternate player rep. Meanwhile, Mike Lynn of the Vikings said he will not announce plans to sign free agents or plans regarding possible ticket refunds until the strike does become a reality. Speaking of fans, Mike Walsher has been on the receiving end of a few opinions regarding a possible strike, and he's at Hubert's across from the Metrodome with more. Mike?
Well, Mark, I don't know if you've ever seen football withdrawal symptoms setting in. We're seeing it this evening here at Hubert's. It's not a pretty sight. People sitting around shaking their heads wondering, what are we going to do if there's a strike next Sunday afternoon and the rest of the Sundays throughout this fall? One man who's pondering that question is Ted Berg. He's a Viking season ticket holder. Ted, what are you going to do next Sunday?
Well, I don't know. Watch the replay of the Super Bowl, I guess, or take a nice long walk or something like that.
Will you go to the games with the non-union players, the so-called scab games?
No. I don't want to see second-rate football. I pay $18 a seat. I want to see first-rate football.
What do you feel about the players versus the management in this dispute?
They had all summer to get things settled. I just can't figure either side out.
Make you mad?
Yes, it does. Very much.
All right, thank you. Now, another man who's pretty worried about what's going to happen is Steve Anderle. He's the owner of Hubert's. Steve, how much business do you stand to lose because of a strike?
Well, I think on a good Sunday, about 75% of our business is with the Viking fans and the pregame and the after-game celebration, so it's going to hurt us in the pocketbook, sure.
Do you think that's true of the other bars, restaurants downtown?
Well, I'm sure it is, because Sunday downtown has never been a great day, and the football kind of brought a lot of people downtown, and a lot of us found it was very good for business to have the Vikings downtown.
Does that affect your television business, too, just people coming in to watch Monday night games?
Yeah, you just don't have the people coming downtown, and we're going to lose interest in the sport. I mean, a lot of people can't relate with that kind of hang-up, striking over money when they're getting paid so much already.
Yeah. What are you hearing from fans like yesterday and today?
Well, they just can't believe these two sides haven't gotten together and figured out what they want to do. They're waiting till the last minute, so I guess nobody's going to know until tonight.
You're right with that, and we'll certainly check back and have more on our 10 p.m. report. Dave?
Very good. Thank you, Mike. Vikings quarterback Tommy Kramer will go on trial in December on drunk driving charges. The trial date was set during a court appearance today after Kramer's lawyer and the prosecutor had failed to reach a plea agreement that would have settled the case without a trial. Kramer would not comment on the case today, but he did talk about fan reaction to his situation.
Well, there's been a lot of good, and, you know, there's been some bad, but I think the good has overridden the bad, and, you know, I just keep my head above the water and, you know, just try the best that I can to, you know, to get ready to play football.
Kramer was arrested in Bloomington on July 24th. He pleaded not guilty, but he did complete an alcohol treatment program last month. In a moment, a man accused of killing his wife and daughter with explosives goes on trial in Chanhassen. And we'll explain why the bells at St. Paul's Landmark Center are pealing out a call for help.
These are going to go fast. Billy Chevrolet is discounting 50 new 1987 Novas to one low price. Just $92.95 or $158 a month buys your choice of 50 special factory purchase Novas, all loaded with automatic air conditioning, AM/FM stereo, and more. Real four-door comfort and compact economy. And now 50 to choose from at just $92.95 during the one price sale at Billy Chevrolet. If you miss this one, you're blowing a whole lot of dough. Wayzata Mitsubishi says goodbye 87 with the biggest discounts of the year. All remaining 87 cars and trucks drastically reduced. Like 87 Tradia was $11,067, now just $89.95. Or 87 Galant discounted by $24.59 to just $12,995. Even 87 Prius now closeout price at $67.95. We've got 120 88s in stock and coming, so we're cutting prices to an all-time low. This is your chance to say hello to the best goodbyes of the year at Wayzata Mitsubishi. Don't blow it.
You know, my dad was a mechanic, so I learned at an early age how important it is to use the right motor oil. Well, cars have gotten real complicated since then. So for today's cars, you need today's motor oil. New Superflow from Exxon. Hey, this is a real winner. It's got this special additive wear band that's super at blocking wear around the rings, cam, pistons, all over your engine. So you want your engine to last? Go with the flow. New Superflow.
St. Paul police report 2 firebombs were found this afternoon on the roof of the Planned Parenthood clinic in Highland Park. The devices were found after an anonymous caller had alerted the clinic. Neither bomb ignited. In fact, police say one of them was broken. That's the 3rd such incident in a week at Twin Cities clinics where abortions are performed. Dwayne Bisek went on trial in Chaska today. He's charged with the murder and the deaths of his wife and daughter earlier last year. They died when their car blew up. And as Terry Sater reports, the question is, was the explosion accidental or deliberate?
Mary and Christina Bisek were killed by explosives that ripped apart their family car in February of last year. Today, in opening statements, prosecuting attorney Tom Heffelfinger told jurors dozens of witnesses will show that the mother and daughter were not killed accidentally, and that Dwayne Bisek planned their murders to collect on $270,000 in life insurance. Prosecutors will try to prove that the wire allegedly used to detonate the explosives in the car was hidden by Dwayne Bisek in the glove box of his pickup after the explosion. But defense attorney Ron Messbecher told jurors that witnesses will expose inconsistencies in the prosecution's evidence. Messbecher said the prosecution has made the jurors suspicious of Bisek. Quote, "Now when you look at my client, you see a beast, but things are not always as they seem," end quote. Messbecher told the jury, quote, "Dwayne Bisek is not an idiot, but it was dumb what he did with the explosives that night. But he's not on trial for being stupid or grossly negligent. He's on trial for murder," end quote. And Messbecher says it wasn't murder, it was an accident. Tomorrow, jurors will be shown pictures from the accident scene, and prosecutors will use several explosives experts, scientists, and investigators to try to prove that Dwayne Bisek wasn't trying to jumpstart the family car, but instead was using the electricity from the battery to detonate the explosives and murder his wife and daughter. The first of more than 100 witnesses will take the stand tomorrow, and prosecutors say the trial could last up to 2 months. Terry Sater, WCCO Television News, Chaska.
More than 100 spectators were in the courtroom today, including members of Bisek's family and some of the people with whom he works. Today, the Ramsey County Board approved emergency funds to study problems with the skylight at St. Paul's Landmark Center. The main courtyard there has been off limits since last week when cracks were spotted in the skylight. Officials want to know, and as soon as possible, how serious the problem is, since the courtyard is a very popular place for parties and receptions, and the busiest season is just around the corner. So far, only one event has been canceled. Others have been moved elsewhere in that historic building, or they've been rescheduled. In a moment, the best of two seasons. Mike Fairborn offers a touch of autumn, and we'll look ahead a bit with the Winter Carnival. We'll be right back.
Hello, racing fans. I'm Dark Star. Don't forget to join me on WCCO2, the Canterbury Report, every night at 10:25. And if you miss us, we'll be back at 7:30 the following morning. That's the Canterbury Report with Dark Star on WCCO2.
Heat your home with Bryant's efficient formula gas furnace and get 1 month of free gas. Or heat your home with the ultra-efficient Plus 90 furnace and get 2 months of free gas. Formula and Plus 90 from Bryant. Up to 97% efficient and fired up with free gas.
In St. Paul, call Paul Fowles Company.
Ever since your post office invented express mail overnight delivery, others have tried to copy our eagle, but it's not so easy. You see, express mail overnight reliability is close to perfect, with the most convenient locations and prices as low as $10.75. About half what most others charge. So we're pretty hard to imitate. So use the original express mail service from your post office.
After years of extensive research and development, the people at Care Unit are proud to announce the discovery of a machine that can help treat drug and alcohol addiction. It's easy to use, it's safe, and best of all, it's available to anyone who suffers from this problem. If you don't call, we can't help.
While many of us are reluctantly letting go of summer, others are anxiously looking ahead to winter, particularly the organizers of the St. Paul Winter Carnival, who announced the theme for the 1988 edition today is Tales of Fire and Ice. Among the main attractions will be a giant snow volcano, home of Volcanus Rex, King of Fire. Other ice sculptures will include the throne of King Boreas, the mighty monarch of winter. Officials say they hope the sculptures will re-educate all of us to the legend that holds the carnival events together. I would like to think.
I can hardly wait.
That is months ahead. I hope we're much too premature in announcing that.
I think we are. It's going to be warm for the next couple of... Hey, near 80 on Wednesday.
My
I think
heavens.
everybody's going to welcome that after that sloppy week that we've had. I think everybody's kind of behind in their yard work and house painting. I know the farmers are behind in their
We need
field
that
work.
kind of weather on the weekends, not now, thank you.
Well, that's true. But we will gradually dry out here over the next few hours. And the reason we've been so wet and so cloudy and so moist is because of this upper-level cold pool of air that's been anchored right over the top of us through the weekend, moving slowly off to the northeast right now. This big area out here, ridge of high pressure, slowly building in. As that moves to the east, our temperatures by Wednesday will be up near 80 degrees. Don't get your hopes up. Is it going to last? Well, probably not. We're going to have another little disturbance maybe dropping down on us toward the end of the week, which will cool us off one more time. Look at how large an influence that low pressure area is making across the country, all the way from the eastern part of North and South Dakota, all the way down into parts of southern Missouri, and then eastward all the way to the east coast. Out here to the west where the high pressure is, clear skies. That'll be over us tomorrow and Wednesday, and then Thursday. I think we're going to see a little bit of a change one more time. Close up, we still have some pockets of clearing out there, but still a lot of clouds, too, that are rotating around out of the northeast. So tonight, off and on cloud cover, off and on sights, at least, of the stars out there. But I think the shower activity is pretty well ended, and will continue to move gradually off to the east. We hit a high of 68 degrees today in between all of the clouds. The sun broke out and briefly up to 68, 50 for an overnight low. No precipitation in the past 24 hours. Sunrise today at 6:59 will set tonight at 7:13. The days are really getting shorter. We've still had a few showers in and around the Twin Cities, lost in the ground clutter. Most of the shower activity that has been going on to the east of us is becoming too light now to be detected, so much of the showers ending. This is the weather system we're watching up to the north. If that dips down on us on Thursday, then we could again cool off and have another chance of some showers. But in the meantime, high pressure is going to continue to dominate the weather over the upper Midwest. All the clouds and the showers finally pushing on to the east. Our highs will recover into the 60s and 70s. We'll hit in the upper 60s to near 70 degrees tomorrow. Look at this out in the west, 80s and 90s. It'll be this area that's going to gradually move in over us. Well, if you were out along the lakes and enjoying the weather today, you did need that sweater. It's partly cloudy outside right now, still 65, but those winds out of the north at 14, making it feel a little bit on the chilly side. 56% humidity, dew point 49, barometer 3019, and it's rising. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a few sprinkles, 48. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and warmer, 73, still the northwest winds. Clear tomorrow night and 52, and sunny again on Wednesday with a high right near 80. The extended outlook then, 70s, cooling off a little bit toward the end of the week, a chance of some showers on Thursday, overnight lows 50 into the 40s. And tonight at 10, David, we're going to take a look at the weather we're leaving behind and the weather that lies ahead, thanks to a couple of viewers that sent in some beautiful photographs for us.
Fine. Thank you. In a moment, the man who is looking to buy the Dayton-Hudson Company pays a call on the Twin Cities. His story is...
These are going to go fast. Billy Chevrolet is discounting 50 new 1987 Novas to one low price. Just $92.95 or $158 a month buys your choice of 50 special factory purchase Novas, all loaded with automatic air conditioning, AM/FM stereo, and more. Real four-door comfort and compact economy. And now 50 to choose from at just $92.95 during the one price sale at Billy Chevrolet. If you miss this one, you're blowing a whole lot of dough. Wayzata Mitsubishi says goodbye 87 with the biggest discounts of the year. All remaining 87 cars and trucks drastically reduced. Like 87 Tradio was $11,067, now just $89.95. Or 87 Galant discounted by $24.59 to just $12,995. Even 87 Prius now closeout price at $67.95. We've got 120 88s in stock and coming, so we're cutting prices to an all-time low. This is your chance to say hello to the best goodbyes of the year at Wayzata Mitsubishi. Don't blow it.
Hi, I'm Chrissy Cardenas. Stay tuned to CCO2 for Prime Time Live. Tonight, it's The Intelligent Investor, brought to you by Webb Arnold Markman. Bob Markman, Josh Arnold, and Jerry Webb will be here to answer your questions on stock, commodities, futures, financial planning, insurance, and any other general investment questions you may have. So give us a call at 333-7727. We're live and we're next, right after the news, here on cable, WCCO2. Join us.
Bob. I'm Bud. I'm Bill.
And I'm Biff. Welcome to Goodyear's 89th anniversary sale. We are celebrating by giving away tires.
Really?
That's right. Just buy 3 Vector all-season radials or 3 Eagle GT Plus 4 high-performance all-season radials at the regular price, and you get one free.
But which one's the free one? Left rear? Right rear? Left front? Right front.
Right front.
I told you so.
See your participating Minneapolis-St. Paul Goodyear retailer. Sale ends September 30th.
One of the men who's interested in taking over the Dayton-Hudson Corporation came to take a look at that property today. The president of the DART Group, Robert Haft, briefly visited some of the stores. He spent more time telling news organizations that he is not out to hurt or injure Santa Bear. Business reporter Alan Cox was the first television reporter on hand when Mr. Haft arrived this morning. Alan?
Dave, for just a few moments this afternoon, it looked as if Robert Haft might try to buy out Dayton-Hudson bit by bit. Haft stopped by the Target store in the Midway and got into line with other customers for a small purchase. In fact, Haft's DART Group and its allies already own more than $250 million in Dayton-Hudson stock. And earlier in the day, as he arrived in the Twin Cities, Haft repeated that he wants it all in what he calls a friendly offer for the company. So far, Dayton-Hudson is treating it as anything but friendly. Dayton-Hudson lobbyists got a protective law passed earlier this summer, in part by depicting DART Group as corporate pirates out to extract a quick payoff. Haft's message in today's visit, he's an experienced discount retailer, too.
We have opened 425 stores in the last 10 years. We've created thousands of jobs, and we're interested in the communities that Dayton-Hudson serves, specifically Minnesota.
Haft, who is 34 years old, is president of Dart Group under its chairman and his father, Herbert Haft. In meetings with local newspaper editors this afternoon, the younger executive talked about his family's commitment to charity, and he brought up Dayton-Hudson's soft earnings over the last few years, a problem he says Dart Group could help solve. But Wall Street apparently needs more proof. Dayton-Hudson stock fell slightly in today's trading. An analyst says investors may dislike Haft's plan to borrow billions and to put in relatively little of their own holdings, called equity capital.
To make a transaction financeable, you probably should do with half that amount of debt and make up the balance with equity capital.
And that's what seems to be making Wall Street skeptical.
Right, right.
Whatever the outcome of this offer, many analysts believe the battle for Dayton-Hudson may have months and months to run. Dave?
Thank you, Alan. This morning in Washington County, 7 years after construction began, a ceremony marking the completion of 1,500 miles of Interstate Highway 94 from Port Huron, Michigan to Billings, Montana, the exact center point of which is the St. Croix Travel Information Center. Minnesota Transportation Commissioner Len Levine described the history of the project. Lieutenant Governor Marlene Johnson offered the keynote address, and together in a seatbelt fastening ceremony, they marked the official opening of our newest highway convenience. Now again, Mark Rosen with the results of the latest labor dispute on the sports front.
Well, not only in football, but in baseball also, Dave, the free agency issue, as the arbitrator ruled in favor of the players today. We'll have that story and hear from the Minnesota on a possible strike. That's up next.
Watch the Minnesota Twins play their exciting brand of baseball as they chase the American League pennant. Join the excitement September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th for a special pay-per-view event as the Texas Rangers come to the Metrodome to face the Minnesota Twins. Order your Minnesota Twins games today. Sponsored by Budweiser. Call your local cable operator to order. The Twins versus the Rangers, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. A Twins Vision pay-per-view event.
Hello, racing fans. I'm Dark Star. Don't forget to join me on WCCO2, the Canterbury Report, every night at 10:25. And if you miss us, we'll be back at 7:30 the following morning. That's the Canterbury Report with Dark Star on WCCO2.
If you're trying to lose a few pounds and butter is out, you're gonna love this. Molly McButter. Now you can shake on the taste of butter for just 4 calories. Molly McButter. New Molly McButter natural butter flavor sprinkles. The taste of real butter with only 4 calories per serving. A very wholesome, 100% natural 4 little calories. So indulge yourself. Molly McButter. You've got Molly now.
Show 'em all you have to go. Put the heat on the street and watch the faces start to glow. Turn it on.
The heat is on at your Lincoln Mercury dealer. Now get great savings on Mercury Cougar when you buy a preferred equipment package along with 1.9 APR financing. Save on Mercury Sable with a preferred equipment package and 1.9% financing.
Turn it on and on and on and on. Turn the heat on.
See your Northwest Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Wheel spinners, wheel grinners, wheel winners. Next,
I'm a wheel watcher.
be a wheel watcher
I'm a wheel watcher.
on Channel 4.
Every day.
Well, this was the scene in Anaheim yesterday as Wade Wilson completed a pass to Hassan Jones, the winning touchdown in what could have been the Vikings' last game for a while. Of course, the last football strike was back in 1982, lasting 7 weeks. Well, late this afternoon, Union Chief Gene Upshaw said he would comment actually later tonight on national television on a possible solution to the walkout, which is scheduled to begin at midnight tonight. Part of the players' demand is that management repay $18 million in what the union calls delinquent contributions plus interest, saying the owners cheated the union out of the money when the '82 contract was finalized. The Vikings, meanwhile, are playing now the waiting game. They held a short practice today. Then a number of the players cleaned out their lockers. If a walkout occurs, the Vikings would have to work out on their own away from Winter Park. Mike Lynn said he will not announce plans for a new Viking team and plans for possible ticket refunds until the strike becomes a reality. A walkout would eliminate this Sunday's game at Kansas City. Then the so-called scab team would begin play October the 4th. Meanwhile, a number of Vikings told me they've been put into a situation out of their control.
Well, I certainly have a lot of mixed emotions. I don't want to see a strike. You know, obviously, you're put in a situation where you almost have to support the union, and there's got to be the solidarity. But it's unfortunate that it's come down to this. There's no reason why they couldn't have gotten it done up to this point. They've had all off season to do it, and it's just you know, they're starting to point fingers. There's name calling. Everybody's trying to place the blame on everybody else.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, but, you know, it's really something that we have no control over right now. You know, I can remember back when I was a rookie, and we had just lost to Buffalo in the same situation. It was a lot easier to go out on strike then.
The Vikings are obviously, as Darren Nelson mentioned, anxious to continue the season off to that 2-0 start. Only the Chicago Bears remain unbeaten along with Minnesota in the NFC. Well, in this baseball season of corked bats, nail files, and sandpaper, it only stands to reason that the owners get caught breaking the rules. That's the judgment today by arbitrator Tom Roberts, who said the owners acted in collusion to destroy free agency in baseball. Now the business at hand will be compensation for the free agents since the '85 season. The union has some ideas.
To provide each player who was damaged as a result of this collusion in the '85-'86 case with an opportunity through a separate hearing to have that damage fully remedied. So if an arbitrator would decide that player X did not receive as much money as he should have, or should have had a long-term contract, or that Rod Carew maybe should have had a job but for the collusion, he'll have to put that right, whether that's in terms of days of service, or money, or free agency opportunities again, or all of the above.
Of course, one of the more publicized incidents of suspected collusion involving a free agent was Kirk Gibson. He ended up re-signing with Detroit. Gibson reacted to today's decision.
That we had an agreement, and labor laws are there, and we're supposed to abide by them as well as the owners were, and they did not. That's what the arbitrator ruled, and as I said, hopefully they will be punished. And yeah, hey, my pockets are open if they want to award some kind of damages.
Joe Niekro of the Twins was one of 62 players who opted for free agency after the '85 season. He could not be reached for comment. A landmark decision, Dave, could have long-range repercussions in baseball.
When will be the next season we can get through without most of the news coming from the boardroom or the negotiating?
Year 2000-something, maybe.
We live to see it. Thank you, Mark. Among the stories we're preparing for tonight's 10 p.m. report, a look at the people who make up Hennepin County's underwater recovery team. A dozen divers, 11 of them volunteers, are called out at least 50 times a year to search the murky waters in our area for drowning victims, evidence of crime, or sunken cars. Life on the diving team, and tonight on the 10 p.m. report. That's tonight's 6 p.m. report. Thank you, and good night.